The lights of Coldwater Ridge, the haunting intensified. 1. The cracked foundation. Marcus and Leah Turner didn't just move to Coldwater Ridge to escape the city, they fled the hollow silence left by their daughter Clara. The farmhouse was indeed quiet, but the silence wasn't healing, it was an amplifier. Every creak of the old wood floor sounded like a shout, and every breeze felt like a cold hand. On their first walk, Marcus noticed something the real estate photos had conveniently missed: a wide, deep circular scar in the packed earth behind the barn. It was too perfect to be natural, too large to be an old fire pit. It felt like a wound in the land. 2. The unanswered hum. The neighbors, the Crawfords, gave their warning about the lights. Marcus dismissed it, but the first night changed everything. When the humming began at 3:22 a.m., it didn't just vibrate the air, it vibrated inside their bones. It was a frequency that bypassed the ears and rattled the teeth. Scout didn't just whimper. He was paralyzed, drooling, his eyes fixed on the window. The lights appeared, blinding white orbs that didn't illuminate the trees but seemed to absorb the darkness around them. They floated, moving with a calculated intelligence, testing the perimeter of the farm. Marcus went to the window. Instead of vanishing, one light pulsed, brightened, and moved directly toward the glass, stopping inches away. In its blinding core, Marcus thought he saw movement, a swirl of shadow, the shape of something impossibly tall. He didn't film it. He fell back, gasping, convinced that the thing was not a drone or gas, but an eye staring into his soul. 3. The physical toll. The haunting grew physical. Marcus developed chronic headaches that felt like needles under his skull every time the lights appeared. Leah became withdrawn, spending hours staring into the dark corners of the house. One morning, they woke to find the silverware drawer emptied, every knife, fork, and spoon arranged in a precise glowing circle on the kitchen table. An intruder, Marcus insisted, trying to sound authoritative. Leah walked to the circle, trembling. They were arranged while we slept. They were here. But the worst physical violation was on Scout. The dog, usually vibrant, began to waste away. One evening, after the lights had hovered unusually close for over an hour, Marcus found Scout curled up, his fur patchy. A line of 4 small, perfectly circular burns ran down the length of his flank, too neat to be accidental. The lights were marking their property. 4. The journal's confession. When Marcus found Thomas Landry's journal in the cellar, the entries were not just frantic, they were a confession. The journal revealed the purpose of the lights. They didn't just wait for people to follow them, they induced the desire. They whisper the names of the lost. They make you see your loved ones in the shadows. They feed on the grief they pull out of you. And the light is not welcome, it is a cage. It holds the others that went before me. I hear them screaming inside the light. The final entry was not a warning but a surrender. I can't fight the pull. I see my wife. They are making her walk toward me, smiling. I'm going to her. I have to go to her. Forgive me, my children. I'm stepping into the fire. 5. The voice in the fog. The night everything broke, the air was still and thick. The fog was not just outside, it seemed to be leaking through the walls, smelling of ozone and wet earth. The lights were everywhere, forming a ring around the farmhouse. The humming began, agonizingly loud, and the house lights flickered and died. Then came the voice whispering their daughter Clara's name. Daddy. Mommy. I'm cold. I need you to open the door. Leah didn't just cry, she screamed, a sound torn from her gut. That's her. She's outside. Marcus grabbed her, but she was impossibly strong, thrashing with a maniacal energy. He saw the shift in her eyes. They weren't just glassy, they were reflecting the white light from outside, like 2 small mirrors. As Leah wrestled free, she didn't walk toward the door, she sprinted. Marcus tackled her just as she reached the threshold. They fell, struggling, until he heard a new sound, tapping. On the glass of the door, wet, thick fingers were tapping. 3 times. Slow, deliberate, and then a large dark silhouette pressed against the glass. It was tall, thin, and its movement was too fluid, too effortless to be human. It was Elias Crow, the drowned man from Lake Sombre. The lights had brought him. 6. The assimilation. Leah saw the figure, but instead of fear, a look of profound, aching relief washed over her face. They brought her back, Leah whispered, mesmerized. They brought Clara. Marcus turned back to the glass, but the figure of Crow was gone. Now staring in were dozens of indistinct shadowy faces pressed against the panes. Leah broke Marcus's grip with a sudden sickening crack of her wrist. She threw open the door and stepped out, embracing the blinding white light. The orbs didn't just engulf her, they consumed her. The light flared so intensely that Marcus had to shield his eyes. When he looked again, Leah was gone. But one of the lights remained, hovering low where she stood. It pulsed, brighter than the others, and the humming it emitted was different, a sustained, sorrowful frequency that Marcus instinctively knew was his wife's consciousness trapped. 7. The empty room. Sheriff's teams searched for days, finding nothing. The official report cited mysterious disappearance. Marcus was found days later, catatonic, Scout dead at his feet. They had succumbed to the constant, paralyzing dread. When Marcus was finally lucid enough to be questioned, he only repeated one thing: "She's in the light. She's singing." He left Coldwater Ridge a broken man, but the haunting did not end. Months later, Marcus was living in a sterile, temporary apartment miles away. He slept poorly. One night, the smoke detector went off, shrieking. Marcus went to turn it off, but the sound wasn't coming from the ceiling. It was coming from the closed closet door. He opened it. The closet was dark, but a faint humming white light was visible under the pile of his old clothes. He reached down and pulled away a familiar wool sweater. Beneath it was a perfectly spherical, faintly glowing orb of pure white light. It didn't warm the fabric around it. It pulsed once, twice, and the humming intensified. And Marcus realized the horrifying truth. They didn't just lure you to the ridge, the lights were a vessel, and they had sent Leah back, not as a ghost, but as a silent, patient contagion. The voice that emerged from the light was low, sweet, and intimate, whispering, "Marcus, you sound so lonely." This time, he didn't run. He didn't scream. He simply reached out and gently touched the orb, ready to join the song.